Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, on the blogger site, and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates and as such, usually I go about on Twitter X. And today we're going to get later on another Midnight Suns episode. And just a quick reminder that I got some completed gameplay series here already. The most older ones are 1080p, and the most recent are in 4K. Regarding live streams, when I have something to tell you, I will let you know. Um, yeah, let's go to the news. Similarly, after I read this, I watched the Moore's Law Dead channel video about the leaks here. Seems to be in line with that. The new information that we have on Geekbench regarding at least the specs, at least the general specs, which is the 8800 XT, which has going to have again this shows 28 compute units, but it doubles up to 56 if you count it correctly. The actual compute units. 56 compute units, which gives around 3500 and 84 stream processors. Um, and it has 16 gigabytes of VRAM. The only thing is the clock speed here, it's a little bit finicky. Supposedly, according to the insider information that he had, was around 3000 megahertz. But then again, this Geekbench can be kind of a prototype or something like that. Like, I don't know what it can be, but supposedly again doesn't look that good given the results comparatively to the 7900 XTX and the 7800 XT. Again, this is, I don't know, 30%, one third of the 7800 XT. But yeah, this can be for a lot of reasons. Testing drivers, I don't know, trying to do some finicky stuff there to get around, I don't know, testing some troubleshooting some issues or something like that. Again, but yeah, it is what it is. Similarly, it supposedly at least as the what we can say that the same general specs there, which is 16 gigabytes of VRAM, the 56 compute units, which is not a lot. But they are, I suppose, if they are tuned correctly, they can do a lot of rasterization performance. Supposedly, trying to trade blows with the 4080s. I'm sure. I'm not sure if it is 4080 Super or the 4080 only. But yeah, I think it is trying to, at least with rasterization, trying to trade blows with at least okay around the 4080-ish kind of levels there in some instances, I suppose. And then with ray tracing performance, trying to trade blows with the 4070 Ti. But yeah, uh, let's see how it goes. If more info comes out to confirm or deny any kind of insider information that we've been having and speculating about. But yeah, for now, this is what we got here. Supposedly, MSI is preparing GeForce 4070 Ti Super. This is going to be the Stalker 2 edition. Recently, they also been doing the World of Warcraft edition and the Wukong edition. Again, this is the slim variant of their 4070-ish kind of thing. I assume it's the cooler thing. Again, it's interesting that they are doing a lot of this game bundles or special editions with the 4070 GPUs there. I will have to assume that it's mainly because of the trying to maintain the competitive pace with the 4070. Given that the 4070 Ti GPU is around 800 and something dollars, and in terms of performance, it's basically the same that the 7900 XT, but the 7900 XT is like between 100 to almost $200 cheaper than some variants of the 4070 Ti Super. And they have basically the same performance, at least in terms of rasterization. Again, I think the 4070 Ti Super is doable in ray tracing performance if you play it at 1440p, maybe with some extra upscaling help there in some cases. But other than that, again, um, we've been seeing, for example, even the 4090 struggles with ray tracing, even rasterization with everything maxed out with, for example, Black Myth Wukong. So if you're going to have to put um, upscalers, might as well reduce the having more realistic approach on in terms of the resolution and frames that you want to aim and playing all your games than to just use the crutch of upscaling, even though it might look good. But again, it's all kind of almost a gimmick. Because if the game is, depending on the game, of course, if the game is smoothed out in terms of performance, and usually if it is optimized, native resolution should be an achievable play, have a playable frame rate. Again, depending on the GPU, but yeah, I assume this is to aim more 1440p in terms of performance regarding the Stalker 2. I don't remember for sure um, if the Stalker 2 is on their own engine of the. I think they changed to Unreal Engine 5, if not mistaken. But yeah, if it is on Unreal Engine 5, and it seems in terms of graphic fidelity pretty decent. I think 4070 Ti Super is on the realms of around 1440p to achieve good 60 frames per second. I will assume so. But yeah, GeForce NVIDIA is doing, or at least this moment, this is from MSI. They are doing some special gaming editions. It's not unusual from MSI. We've been seeing this throughout the since there is GPUs there. But yeah, interesting enough, they decided for the Stalker to bring the 4070 Ti Super instead of 4070 Super. I'm not sure if it is have something to do with um, the stock available that they have to launch these games, given that the Wukong is a little bit more demanding than Stalker 2, I will assume. But yeah, we'll have to wait for the reviews to see about that. But yeah, interesting enough, there is a slight difference there, even in terms of performance between 4070 Super and 40 Ti Super, and one of them is basically more VRAM, and yeah, it's an uplift in the performance for sure. I think it's one of the most yeah, because one is the Ti version and the other is not. Yeah. Now I remember. Okay, there is a huge uplift in performance, not huge like in 50%, but enough to be visible, especially with the 16 gigabyte VRAM. You can't try to at least play 4K with upscalers on, but yeah. We'll have to wait and see how it will cost. It will cost a little bit more because this is a gaming edition kind of a GPU there. So I don't know, $900 give or take, which is a lot. With that price point, you might as well buy a 7900 XTX, which is around that price point, and it's a better GPU overall than the 4070 Ti, except for again ray tracing. In other news, we got Avowed. They got there is hour-long 4K gameplay footage. This is coming from Le Fond Terrible. I think I'm not sure if he did a kind of a collage there, or if it is like an exclusive thing here. I don't think so. Usually, he does a lot of trailer stuff from what I've been seeing here. But at least we got a little bit more of gameplay with the free classes, so around divided, I don't know, a third for each class in that hour. And the classes are Blood Mage, Barbarian, and Ranger. The most interesting one for me it's Ranger. And again, I never played Skyrim, but from the videos that I've been watching from Skyrim throughout the years, this seems to play a little bit in that sense, kind of the first person and the action that you have while playing in first person seems a little bit in that line with Skyrim in terms of the overall feel. But the Ranger is the one that surprised me a little bit there. The way you go about, you got the pistol muskets or whatever they are called. interesting how they went about it. One of the mechanics that I really I got 50-50 is the radio wheel. Basically, it pauses the game. I think if you can, I don't know, slow down time to put a little bit of pressure on the deciding some factors there, because usually in these games, if you want, you can kind of, I don't know, save scum to a certain degree if you're uncertain if you're going to win the battle there. But I think the to put a little bit pressure on the or decision making on the player side. I think it's pause time. I don't think it serves the best there. I think in the middle of the battle, you could use the radio wheel as a slow down time. Again, how much to slow down, I don't know, but it puts a little bit the pressure on. At least I prefer this kind of mechanic than to just pause and go to the menus and navigate the menus in the middle of combat. I think it's a little bit immersive breaking in that sense. But yeah, you can also do the on the D-pad. Again, this was played with a controller. You can use the D-pad to put customize it at your will, like for abilities, quick use abilities, and the such there. Some, but yeah, it's interesting. They change a little bit the art style, which seems fine. This game is going to be supposedly also in Unreal Engine 5, which one of the reasons they are aiming for sure for the at least for the consoles 30 frames per second. There, I spoke about this. I think last gaming news program. And I think it's mainly because of the Series X console. It doesn't handle that well, and the fact that they are mandating again makes sense because if you're selling the goddamn hardware, you when you sell software, you have to sell for your whole ecosystem. Given that they're supposedly it's a current gen um, console. But again, I think the way PlayStation went, which is just one version of PlayStation 5, and that's it. Instead, they went, I don't know why, for the Series X and S there. Again, it's a lower version. We've been seeing some ports be having a lot of issues. We got Baldur's Gate 3, got the issues to launch to Xbox mainly because of that, of the limitations that the Series X has. And I think this is one of the things that Avowed is having some issues, and the fact that basically they are going to have stick with that 30 frame per second on Xbox. I'm not sure if it is achievable around at least the dynamic resolution 60 frames on PlayStation 5. But then again, the best experience is going to be on PC for sure. Got a lot of supposedly you got more tweakability on the settings, and we got also again the upscaling to help out in lower end systems. But yeah, just to confirm, the game will come out February 18th next year. Hopefully, they have a little bit more time to at least to streamline some animations, especially on the combat side. There, some of them seem a little bit awkward, a little bit janky, but the combat seems okay for Obsidian. Again, Obsidian is the same studio that brought us Fallout New Vegas. At least, hopefully, the story and the dialogue systems and all that jazz is pretty in line, at least with the lore itself from Pillars of Eternity, but with their own little quirks, hopefully. And the combat is solid enough to carry on with the game there. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to play Avowed. Again, I'm usually I never played Pillars of Eternity, so the lore behind there, even though it's kind of segregated in the sense in terms of consequences, and it's kind of a segregated story out of the main lore per se. So basically, this is going to be like a small experience. But yeah, um, interesting enough. Okay, we'll have to wait. I will wait and see for reviews for sure. We still have a lot of months until the game comes out. But yeah, the things that caught my eye was the radio wheel. Even though it pauses the game, it says stop time. Um, but you got a lot of options there on the radio wheel. I think slowing down time will be better, so it's like a last case use. for you to slow down time, think a little bit more strategically of and fine tuning to what throwables and abilities that you want to use besides the ones that are associated with the D-pad as quick launch abilities or whatever you want to bind there. But yeah, the dialogue seems okay. You got like some checks there, some how do you call it? Ability checks for perception and all that jazz in terms of the dialogue that you can use. And one of the things that I like, I'm also 50-50, even though they have a classes system, you can make a build regardless of that, but they are very free in that sense that you can just throw around. um, to a certain degree, I think it's good to build like dual class builds. You can have a ranger with some tweaks of other classes there, or barbarian with tweak with whatever you want to do. But yeah, interesting enough, it's one of those that I'm keeping my eyes on to see how it falls behind, mainly because of Obsidian and their pedigree in terms of usually good quality, and they usually have very positive feedback from the games that they've been launching. So hopefully it will be a great game there. um, Gamescom is wrapped up and we got some winners announcements. Again, this usually it's used for the trailer stuff when they are launching the game. Some of them has got 100 game awards. Again, usually it's come from the Gamescom and this kind of usually before the E3 cancellation, that usually they use those badges from this kind of awards that they give here. Supposedly Monster Hunter Wilds and Little Nightmares were the bigger ones, let's say. Monster Hunter Wilds got the most entertaining, the most epic, best Sony PlayStation game, best trailer announcement, and basically that's it. That there is, interesting enough, Heart of Gaming Award was Games Protect Democracy. Again, kind of what the fuck is it supposed to mean? And then for sustainability award, Tencent Games, again, interesting enough, given that Tencent is one of the sponsor of Gamescom, if not mistaken, and the fact that they have their finger all over the pies in terms of gaming companies. Again, what you gonna do? Uh, I will assume that this award was sponsored by them for them to receive. But yeah, I've got some overall numbers, over 300,000 visitors from 120 countries, all the usual stuff there. But yeah, it's wrapped up. I think the next one is going to be Tokyo Game Show, if not mistaken. There is some news regarding the lineups of games that will come up in Tokyo Game Shows. I didn't cover any of those. When Tokyo Game Shows come, if it sounds a little bit interesting, I will try to keep my eyes peeled for what it comes. Again, I don't have uh, it's not even patient. Even if I had patience, and I don't have time to go about and watch the live stream in their entireties and watch all the little videos. I try to keep my eyes in the best I can, because again, lack of time. Uh, Due to my freelancer job, sometimes it's a little bit all over the place in terms of scheduling. But yeah, I will try to keep my eyes then on Tokyo Game Show. I think it's the next big show that's coming out, and try to cover the best that my abilities there. And then we got lastly, I saw this yesterday on my Twitter feed, that Steam achieves 37.2 million concurrent players. So at the same time, 37.2 million concurrent players, breaking all previous records. The previous one was around 5 months ago with 36 million users, which is interesting. Again, this I will assume Black Myth Wukong has some huge influence on this record breaking here, which is interesting enough. I'm assuming that a lot of Chinese people just open Steam accounts. If it's, I think it's not, yeah, it's not banned on China Steam. So I will assume a lot of people open Steam accounts just at least to play Black Myth Wukong, which can tell you a lot. But yeah, um, it's a huge. The numbers here are not correct for Black Myth Wukong. It's around 2.4 million players, the all-time peak. It's been lowering little by little every day, like I don't know, 10, 20k players according to the wave. But again, supposedly around 8 80% of the player base is Chinese, so you got a little wave depending on the time zone. You got an up and down of the active play users. I think people reach the conclusions around 80% is because of that wave in terms of the time zone that usually Chinese people play their games. But yeah, uh, broke the record of most single player game in terms of all time peak gamers, which is interesting enough, and it can tell you a lot about how good the game is and what people just want to play. I got some Steam DB charts here. Again, it's 2.4 million. As you can see, it's been low a little bit since the record here around here. It's Thursday. It's been going little by little every day. Again, people are playing, completing the game, and then passing out to another game. Some of them will replay the game, but as you can see, it's very consistent. The wave here in terms of noon. I think it's noon from my time zone, if not mistaken, Universal Time Code. But yeah, you see some down spikes here, then it ramps up again. Still, the low end is around 300k of players at the same time, which is interesting. And then I just want to compare this with the Concord, which is got a lot of bad numbers, and it just falls off a cliff lately. Um, it was the 3 days ago, sorry, 1 week, 400, got a peak of 700. Now it's on the trash bin with 148, and I think it's just going to get even worse. Even though supposedly the people that are playing supposedly has a 70% off, 70% of favorability, or at least positivity there, which is good. But again, this demonstrates that you got a lot of stuff that yeah, the game does mechanically seems decent enough, serviceable enough, but again, it's kind of Guardians of the Galaxy Overwatch mix wannabe. Then you got $40 of an entry point to play this game, while all the others in competition are similar, but they are free to play. Again, that by all those metrics, you're already having a huge struggle to attract players by just entry level of $40 compared to the competition, and being very similar. There is nothing that it seems calls out in terms to differentiate yourself with. And then you got all the DEI and the acronym mafia thing is there inside of the game that just out of spite people will not pay attention to this game because again, people tend to forget, these companies tend to forget, especially this one, 8 years in the making, 100 some people estimate $150 million to produce this game within 8 years. And then people tend to forget that you don't make a product to the audience that you think you have. You need to make a product for the audience that there is in the market itself. You cannot create new out of thin air, especially in a multiplayer game. You cannot create out of thin air a new audience, the modern audience that everybody is clamoring that there exists. But again, uh, it seems that this modern audience is around 700 people, and even worse with this Dustborn shit show of a game. It's a cringe show. I watched some streams to see how bad it is, and it's horrible. 83%, 83 people play this game. 16 players at this moment in time. This I'm in the lower peak of United States, if not mistaken. Yeah, people tend to forget that gamers or the toxic gamers are the customers. They are the paying customers, and if you're just trying to I don't know, brownbeat, denigrate, just annoy people that are your potential customers, the ones that pay the money, not the influencers that might receive one or two copies here and there for free and distribute them. The paying customers, the people that inject money in your company, you have to cater to them. So This is what we have here when we see some pandering to certain very specific audiences um, that usually, funny enough, are not the paying ones. They want everything for free because it's a given right to them. Because usually they think that they are the victims of the world, so they have everything for free. And if you're doing a product for them, you have to basically give them for free, or in some cases, I think you have to pay them for them to play your game. In certain instances, for sure, there's somebody that will think like that. But yeah, in the other hand, then you got what it is, Black Myth Wukong, which is I think a $60 game, and it beats basically all the records for a single player game, at least on Steam. 10 million copies in 3 days, give or take. 3 million players around all platforms, all-time peak there. So yeah, there you have it. Now you can multiply $2.4 million, 2.4 million players with $60, and you get basically the overall revenue of the game there, and you can see how many games you can do with that. But yeah, uh, very interesting how things are going. And I brought these two ones because they are also recent launches, and I think Dustborn launched in the same, basically the same day or the day after Black Myth, 26th of no release date 20th, yeah, it's the same day. And Concord, it was 3 days afterwards again. Um, they're already dying out after 3 days, and Black Myth Wukong still strong with at least 300k players, concurrent players there. But yeah, this is what I got in terms of news. Free games, we got still Callisto Protocol on Epic Game Store until the 29th. On Steam, we got Jusant 35% off. We got Planet of Lana 45% off on the base game. Got the Long Dark, got the Survival Edition 40% off. We got also Swarm Grinder. This is kind of a action roguelike bullet hell thing, similar to Vampire Survivors kind of a thing there. Again, with different, even though it's pixel art, it's a different, but it plays basically the same from what I understand. Very positive feedback, and it's 50% off. So that's that. It's I'm interested in one of these. After I finish Vampire Survivors, I will try this one or something similar. We got also Blasphemous, again 75% off. And if you're not sure if it is a game for you, you got the demo for this game, which is always a good thing for developers and publishers to do this. And lastly, we got Black Mesa. Again, this is the remake of the first Half-Life. Uh, Very positive reviews, or at least all reviews. It's around 95% off, 93 to 95. It's overwhelmingly positive. 75% off. It's very cheap, $5, and it's a remake. I think the remake is made on the Source Engine 2, version 2 of the game engine, and it's a remake, like pixel by pixel almost there. But yeah, I'll leave it with this. And that is all that I have for today. I will just wrap up with a plug on my Patreon for Access support. The Access support is more in line at this moment in time for me to get a better storage solution, so I can get backups of backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.